Well, we now turn to the fallout from the Jeffrey Epstein files, which continues to intensify as more high-profile figures face consequences over their ties to the convicted sex offender.
Yeah, former U.S. Treasury Secretary under President Clinton and former Harvard President Larry Summers has announced he will resign from his teaching and faculty positions at Harvard by the end of this year. Meanwhile, Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates has apologized to staff at his foundation for past associations with Epstein, though many Americans say retirement and an apology is not enough.
And of course, today, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will testify in front of the House Oversight Committee as part of that panel's investigation into Epstein, along with former President Bill Clinton, scheduled to appear tomorrow. So for more on all this, let's welcome in former felony prosecutor and founding partner at the law offices of Eric Faddis, along with associate director at the Epstein Justice, Pete Shinn. So good morning to you both. Eric, I mean, so far, most of this has been reputational or resignations, public apologies. Not a lot of criminal charges here in the U.S., even in the U.K. Formal charges not filed against Peter Mendelsohn or the former Prince Andrew yet, and those are government-related, not sex crimes. What's going on here?
Yeah, that's right. I think the American public thought that there might be these revelations of these, torrid criminal activities, and there are certainly some references to that in the files. But by and large, this is a lot of associations with Jeffrey Epstein, and probably distasteful communications, things like that, as we saw with Larry Summers. But no criminal charges filed yet. And I think the public is kind of like, hey, if all of this horrible criminal stuff happened, what's the next step? Let's take action.
Yeah, Pete, similar question to you. Do you expect to see any criminal investigations into powerful people like Summers or Gates here in the States?
Well, we would certainly hope that there would be an investigation into powerful people, because what hasn't happened yet and what these files show is that there was indeed a criminal network and a criminal conspiracy. Certainly Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell didn't act alone, and it will be impossible for the victims to get justice until everyone involved faces some measure of true accountability.
Yeah, Eric, so I mean, on that point, and we had in our earlier segment Judge Andrew Napolitano, who basically said the statute of limitations has run out on all of these alleged crimes, so criminal charges are unlikely here in the U.S. unless somebody were to, say, perjure themselves before Congress or something along those lines. Is that how you view it?
I generally agree. However, there are some crimes for which the statute of limitations has not run. For example, child sex trafficking. There's no federal statute of limitations on that charge. If there was some ongoing conspiracy, that can sometimes toll the statute of limitations. There are also state statute of limitations that might vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. And some of those opportunities to pursue criminal investigations and charges may be preserved on those bases.
Yeah, and Pete, we know that the Clintons fought these House subpoenas hard before agreeing to appear today and tomorrow. So what does that tell you about all this? And what do you expect to hear from Hillary Clinton later today?
Well, I expect to hear very little from Hillary Clinton about this matter. Why would she disclose anything remotely factual? She has no motivation to tell the truth, nor does former President Clinton. And as a result, really what we need is a fulsome congressional investigation, not a phony bipartisan investigation like the January 6th Commission or even what's happening in the House Oversight Committee. We need a fulsome bicameral, nonpartisan investigation that would involve members of both chambers and perhaps even people outside of Congress. But at the end of the day, we can't have justice until we have the facts. And despite the forest of documents released, there's still more questions than answers.
All right, Pete Shinn, Eric Faddis, thank you both for taking the time and your expertise this morning.
Good to be with you.